Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be doing the first firing of my brand new $155 Briar pipe, which I bought at a local tobacconist near me. In specific, I bought this pipe right here at Pipes by George in Raleigh, North Carolina. And to say the least, I am a huge fan of this pipe. I have been gushing over this pipe both online and in person for just about 6 months now. And since it was my birthday a couple days ago, I decided to go ahead and finally buy it as a birthday present for myself. But what is the pipe that I have been gushing over for so long? And what is the pipe that I am so excited to finally smoke out of for the first time today? Well, the pipe inside this box right here is a Rusticated Finish Savinelli Bing's favorite, and it is a much more long and slender pipe than not. And it was inspired by, but is not a direct copy of, the long and slender pipes that Bing Crosby, a notable American singer, actor, and pipe smoker, supposedly favored smoking out of. I am a huge fan of the looks of this pipe, frankly put. But the looks of this pipe are not the only reason, why I like this pipe right here. I also really like the size of the bowl. It's not too big, it's not too small. Should give me a nice lengthy pipe smoke sesh, but nothing too long by any means. I also really like the fact that this pipe is 6mm filtered. I tend to prefer filtered pipes, so I wanted to have a filtered pipe for my first ever big pipe purchase, and this is my first ever big pipe purchase. This pipe cost me 5 times as much money as my next most expensive pipe I own, which is a lot more money if I do say so myself. I also really like the fact that this pipe right here was made by a reputable pipe company. Savinelli, from what I've read online at least, is a pretty reputable pipe company. And I also really like the fact that the Savinelli Bing's favorite has been on the market for some time, so there's a lot of reviews out there about this pipe. So I know, generally speaking, whether the pipe is actually going to smoke well or not. And I don't think I've ever seen a single negative review about the Savinelli Bing's favorite. I've seen some people saying that they don't like how it's not really the direct copy of the pipes that Bing himself would have been smoking out of, but it's not meant to be a direct copy. It's inspired by, not a copy of. And that's really the main complaint I've seen about the pipe. I've never seen anybody actually say that it smokes badly or anything like that kind of thing. And so as such, I am expecting a really good smoking pipe. But will it actually smoke better than my $10 to $30 pipes that I have at home? I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to finding out. That is for sure. But I do suppose, without further ado, now that I've gone over my intro and talked about what the pipe is, why I bought it, and why I'm looking forward to smoking out of it and everything like that kind of thing, I do suppose now I should probably go ahead and go over the packaging that this pipe is in. Then after that, I suppose I should probably go ahead and get the pipe all out. I suppose I should probably go ahead and let you guys know what the pipe actually looks like, what it feels like, what the quality is like, just everything about it in general. And then after that, I should probably go ahead and get some tobacco in my pipe. I should probably go ahead and tamp it down, get some more tobacco in my pipe. And then after that, I should probably go ahead and actually get to smoking out of my $155 Briar pipe for the first time in today's video. But as said, first off, we gotta go over the packaging that my pipe came in. Now, of course, when this pipe was resting on the shelf, it was not actually in the packaging, but it came in the packaging when I purchased it. And we can see in the front right here, it just says Savinelli right there. That is, of course, the brand that made this pipe. And this box as a whole is just a very basic sort of nice, slightly luxury looking cardboard box. I definitely have to say it has a nice little bit of a texture to it kind of thing. It's just sort of a very, I'd have to say cardboardy like texture, but not like rigid or like sort of ridged cardboard, I do suppose is the right way of putting it. Just feels very nice. It's very like sort of thick paper, almost like, not paperboard per se, but almost like card stock. I'm thinking that's like the right way of putting it. I'm thinking like cardstock sort of texture. It has a really nice texture to it and looks and feels overall a little bit higher quality than not, as you would expect if you buy a $155 pipe. I will admit, it's not like the highest quality box in the world by any means. I mean, like, it's a cardboard box, but of course this box is not really meant to stick around. If you use the pipe kind of thing, you can just throw this box away very easily. But also, this pipe does need to be of somewhat good quality, because some people do buy pipes and then never smoke out of them, and they just collect pipes just like that kind of thing. So this pipe, I think it would be, or this pipe box, to say it correctly, I do think would be good to just kind of sit around for a very long time. It's not that bad of quality by any means, but if you want to throw it away, it's certainly not a big loss by any means. But in silver on the front of the blue background that goes around the entire box itself, we can see in silver right here, it just says Savinelli, kind of just wrapping around like that in a somewhat stylized text with a silver / gray border going all the way around it. And then under that we could see 1876 right there. 1876 is the year that Savinelli first came into existence. And then under that it just says Italy right there in silver. Once again, this pipe, from what I know at least, was manufactured in Italy, which makes sense because Savinelli is an Italian pipe manufacturer. Under all of this right here, they have their website right here. Now, due to YouTube's community guidelines, I'm not allowed to show the website, so I have taped it off with some electrical tape just to make sure I don't get this video taken down or anything like that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other side of the packaging. There's really not much going on, in all honesty. It's really just the front right here. Taking a look at this side of the packaging right here, we can just see what pipe it actually is. It just says Bing's favorite rusticated 6mm right there, and then there's the actual pipe code itself, I do suppose. So if you guys want this specific pipe that I'm showing off in today's video, there is the code, and there's also a barcode right there. There's also there's a QR code right here. I'm actually just going to cover that with my finger just real quick, just to make sure it doesn't redirect anywhere. That might get me in trouble, but there's just the Savinelli logo right there, all in black, and then it just says Bing's favorite brown blast Briar pipe, and then there's another code right there, just for, I guess, maybe that's the pipe code, maybe this was not the pipe code. I'm not exactly sure, in all honesty, but there is another pipe code right there. Taking a look at the top of the box right there, we can just see the Savinelli logo all in silver right there. And taking a look at the other side, nothing too much going on. And taking a look at the bottom, we just get a little bit of a recycle symbol. So it's just saying, hey, you can recycle this. It says Carta, Scadola, 21 PAP. So I assume that means like 21 recycles of paper or something like that kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure, but yep, we can just recycle this box if we really want to, and that's pretty much all there is to the packaging. Really not too much going on, in all honesty, but it's just a nice basic sort of classy look, as you would expect from a pipe that cost $155. It's by no means like the highest quality packaging in the world. It's not metal or anything like that kind of thing. Would have been cool if it was metal, but it's a cardboard box that's just kind of meant to sit on the shelf, and they know that most of the time a lot of pipe shops are going to actually have the pipe out on the shelf or something like that, not actually in the box. So the packaging doesn't really actually matter too much. It's just kind of, it's got to look somewhat good for when you actually buy it and whatnot, and it does. I can't really diss it, but it's not like the best packaging I've ever seen by any means. But without further ado, let's go ahead and now get the lid of this box all off, just like that. Take a look at the inside of the box. There is nothing going on the inside of the box on this lid, on the lid at least. Taking a look in here, though, we can see there is a little bit of a Savinelli piece of paper right here. I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and this piece of paper has a QR code on the back, so I'm going to be very careful not to show that. But this is basically just a, hey, look at all the pipes we make and everything like that kind of thing. Basically just a giant advertisement for all of the new pipes they're making in 2024 and everything like that kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and put that away. I don't need to take a look at that in any depth. I'm going to go ahead and now get the pipe out, which came with a little bit of a cheap blue sleeve, nothing too special. And I'm just going to take a look at what's below the pipe just real quick. We can see the pipe shop that I bought the pipe at, which was Pipes by George in Raleigh, North Carolina. He was nice enough to throw in some Savinelli balsa system filters with my pipe, which I really do appreciate. It also came with a convertible filter, so if I wanted to smoke the pipe unfiltered, I could just put this in the spot where the filter would normally be, and it converts it to being an unfiltered pipe. Then I've also got a little bit of a quality control slip right here, just to let me know that, hey, this did actually pass quality control, I do suppose. And then under that, and I've got to be careful not to show the back of this, then under that there's just like the manual. It's not really a manual, it's just kind of like, hey, please take care of this pipe. Basically just says, it's got how to smoke a pipe on one side, and this is in like many different languages, and then it just has product care on the other side, so really not too much going on. I can't actually really show you guys what's going on the inside of the pipe because it's got a lot of like websites and stuff like that I don't think I'm allowed to show. I'm gonna go and put all of this stuff back in my box though, just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and move all that over because now it's time for me to go ahead and actually show you guys the pipe that I spent my $155 on. So let's go ahead and get this pipe out, and there it is, y'all. There it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid of the box back on just like that. Let me tell y'all what, I love the look of this pipe. It just looks so dang good. Let's just go over the looks of this pipe real quick. We can see it's got a very nice rusticated finish with a dark and light brown. There's some dark areas, there's some light areas, and as I smoke this pipe, I'm thinking my hand and my oils might rub some of the areas to be even lighter than they are, kind of thing. So it's going to age very well with time. Maybe, I don't know if that's actually true, but maybe it will. That would be pretty cool. We can see the top of this pipe right here just has a nice smooth finish with a very beautiful grain, if I do say so myself. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. We can see the inside of this pipe is already blackened. I don't know if that means it's already been pre-fired, not pre-smoked out of per se, but pre-fired. I'm not sure if that means that or what it means exactly, but either way, I do know that the inside of the pipe, it's already black, which is appreciated. The smooth finish right here feels really nice. The grain just looks so dang good. And we can see the bowl itself is shorter than the stem of the pipe, which technically speaking makes this pipe not a billiard, but more of a Canadian style pipe, although not really a Canadian style pipe. It's more of a Canadian low-watt lumberjack pipe, but not really any of those at the same time. But it's more distinctly those than a billiard pipe, I definitely have to say, because from what I know, at least a billiard pipe, the actual bowl itself is either the same length or shorter than the stem itself, whereas with a Canadian lumberjack and low-watt pipe, the bowl itself is taller than, or sorry, is shorter than the actual stem itself right here. So this is more of a Canadian low-watt lumberjack style pipe than not, but that rusticated finish just looks so good. And then it just goes to a little bit of smooth right here just so it links up to the actual stem itself very nicely. We can see there's a gold band right there, and the stem itself is all a very nice tortoiseshell acrylic. I don't know if it's really coming through properly on video, but in person it's got a very nice sort of tortoiseshell brown look to it, which matches the brown styling of the pipe very well. As said, there's a gold band right there, and then because this is the Savinelli Bing's favorite, there is a little bit of a pressed in, sort of recessed little area right here. This kind of, the gold right here is kind of flaking off, but I wasn't really too worried about that in all honesty. But there's just a little bit of like a golf ball and a golf club right there. Apparently Bing Crosby was a really big fan of golf. If I remember correct, he actually died on a golf course in Spain. That's where he passed away. And so there is a little bit of a golf club and a golf ball right there. And we can see the stem itself does have a little bit of a bend to it. And that originally threw me off of this pipe, in all honesty. I really like the look of this pipe. I love longer, more slender pipes than not like this pipe. But I was originally thrown off by the little bit of a bend in the stem. But after holding it in my hand and after buying it, I didn't do this while I was in the store, but after buying it, I was kind of like, I just put it in my mouth and I'm like, you know what? The stem, really not a big deal. The slightly bent stem, not really a big deal one bit. It's not something I'm concerned about by any degree. And honestly, I'm glad I decided to buy this pipe. I'm glad I decided to buy. I'm glad I decided not avoid it. I'm glad I opted to not avoid it, I think is the right way of putting it, because of the bent stem, because I was thinking about avoiding it because of the bent stem. And we can see due to the bent stem, it does kind of hang down just a little bit, but it's nothing to any significant degree. I'm one for straight pipes. I'm not really one for bent pipes in all honesty. But I don't think this bent stem, this very slight bent stem, is really going to bother me one bit. And as a whole, I love the long and slender styling of this pipe. It's just so dang good. And I am also a really big fan of the fact that this pipe is 6mm filtered. A lot of the other pipes that kind of have this same styling where it's long and slender and stuff like that kind of thing, like the, let's say, merchant service pipes, which from what I've heard is the long and slender pipes that Bing Crosby favored smoking out of. Those pipes are unfiltered. I'm not really one for unfiltered pipes. It's just not my thing, in all honesty. I would much rather have a filter, personally. And so there's not too many pipes out there which really replicate this same look, but with a filter. And thankfully, Savinelli does offer an option for that, which I really do like in all honesty. But, you know, as a whole, as I'm sure is obvious, I really, really, really like the look of this pipe. I am a huge fan of it. On the bottom of the pipe right here, we can see it's a little bit flatter than not, and it actually sits on the table pretty well. Let me just go ahead and grab my box real quick just to show y'all real quick that it actually does sit somewhat well. But you know, it actually doesn't sit badly by any means. It's a little bit shaky, but I mean, like, it doesn't sit badly by any means, I definitely have to say. And on the bottom of the pipe, we can just see it just says Savinelli, Bing's favorite, right there, and then it just says made in Italy. And that's what this pipe is. Yeah, as a whole, I love the look of this pipe. I love the brown styling of it. I love the fact that it's kind of understated, but yet at the same time, there's just so much going on kind of thing. Like, if you're just kind of looking at this pipe from a distance, it's kind of understated, but the more you look at it, the more you like it. And when I saw this pipe on the shelf at the tobacconist near me that I bought this pipe at, I'm like, I had been gushing over this pipe online for a while, but I wasn't really sure if I really liked it. I didn't want to buy it if I didn't want to buy my first ever I didn't want to buy my first ever expensive pipe if I wasn't buying it in person, frankly, but I didn't want to spend my money on a pipe online and then end up not liking it. Just because all I saw was photos of it online. I wanted to be able to actually hold the pipe in my hand and everything like that. And after I actually got to hold this pipe in my hand and after seeing it in person, it just grew on me even more. I'm a fan of this pipe. And it's not particularly heavy either. It's, I'd have to say, probably a little bit lighter than some of my bigger corncob pipes. My bigger corncob pipes definitely have more weight to it than this pipe, even with the added length and whatnot kind of thing. And clenching it, it's pretty easy to clench. It's pretty easy to clench on my first winning. Definitely not difficult at all. I mean, like, it's not like the shortest pipe ever, so it's not the easiest to clench, but it's not bad by any means. And as a whole, as I'm sure is obvious, I love the look of this pipe. And, I like the weight of this pipe. I like the fact that it's 6mm filter. I also really like the fact that the bowl is a little bit deeper than that. It goes all the way down to there on my pinky finger on my right hand. It's definitely a little bit of a deeper pipe than my Missouri Meerschaum Christmas Washington, which is the pipe that I've been using the most as of late. And just to emphasize just how long the pipe is, I'm actually going to go ahead and grab my Missouri Meerschaum Christmas Washington out just for a moment, and I'm just going to hold them next to each other so we can see the difference. So I'm just going to hold these next to each other just like that. So we can see the bowl on the Savinelli Bing's favorite is slightly bigger. I think it's the one on this one, this is 0.75 inches in diameter, whereas this one's, I think it's 0.8. I can't remember. I could be wrong about that. But we can see the length of these pipes. The Savinelli Bing's favorite is a decent amount longer, although not like insanely so, but it definitely is a decent amount longer nonetheless. And as a whole, I love the look of both these pipes. I really like this pipe. I really like this pipe, but this is just a different look than any other pipe I have, and I really, really, really do like it. Oh man, I feel like I'm getting repetitive. I'm talking about just how much I like the styling. I love the fact that it's a long and slender pipe. It's just very much to my preference aesthetics-wise. I'm not really one for chunky pipes or bent pipes personally, but I'm a huge fan of the Savinelli Bing's favorite, and yeah. To say the least, as I'm sure is obvious. And I'm very satisfied with my purchase. I hope it smokes well. And I do suppose now it's time for me to actually find out if it will actually smoke well, because I feel like I'm getting a little bit repetitive. I think I've talked about why I like the look of this pipe to a pretty significant degree now. So I suppose I should probably go ahead and actually start getting some tobacco in this pipe right here and see how much tobacco this pipe actually takes. And then after that, I suppose I should probably go ahead and get to smoking it and find out just how well this pipe actually smokes. Although before that, I did forget to do one thing. I wanted to go ahead and take the stem off real quick just to show y'all what the inside of the pipe looks like and everything like that. So let's just go and just take it off real quick, just like that. And of course, we can see it's a 6mm filtered pipe. Overall, looks pretty good. The tenon itself is not super wide by any means, which is not a bad thing by any means either. Just says this is patent pending or something, or this is patented for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. But let's go ahead and put this back in now, just like that. And go ahead and just get it situated back the way I wanted. Uh-oh. Okay, I think that should be good. It's kind of, it's a little bit firm. I think what I'm going to do after this first smoke is I'm probably going to get some beeswax, and I think I'm going to probably put the beeswax both on the inside of the tenon and on the actual stem itself. and that should help kind of loosen it up just a little bit kind of thing, or make it a little bit more slick. Not loosen it up per se, but help it come out a little bit easier than not. So hopefully that'll work. I'm just gonna make sure it's all good for positioning and everything like that before I go ahead and actually get some tobacco in my mouth though. Or in my mouth though, in my pipe though. Maybe move it over just a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's way off now. All right. That's still way off. What am I doing? All right, that should be about right. That should be about right for me. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and now talk about what kind of tobacco I'm gonna be using in today's video and show off all the materials I'm gonna be using with my pipe for the first time. So what is the tobacco that I'm gonna be smoking out of my brand new $155 Briar pipe? Well, I'm thinking today I'm gonna have some Paradoxical Tobacco by Sutliff. And this tobacco right here was blended by Per Jorg Jensen. The Paradoxical is a Virginia Burley and Rustica blend of pipe tobacco. It has Virginia tobacco, Burley tobacco, and Nicotina Rustica, making it a much stronger tobacco than not, and making it a much more interesting tasting tobacco than not. This tobacco is my current favorite pipe tobacco I've ever tried, and so as such, I figured I should probably smoke some of it out of my brand new pipe and everything like that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't think it's actually a really good break-in tobacco per se, but I don't care. I want to smoke my favorite tobacco out of my new pipe, so I'm going to. The Paradoxical by Sutliff is my favorite tobacco right now, and I really like it, and I'm almost done with it, so I'm glad I still have just a little bit left to smoke out of this pipe right here. I've also got my check pipe tool with me today, along with my Otagiri rolling tray that I bought at a thrift shop, but this is Japan made apparently. Let's go and just put that down in front of me, and let's go ahead and put my pipe on it as well. And I'm just gonna put that down, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the lid off of my tobacco now, I'm thinking. And this is a crumble cake pipe tobacco. And I've got some of the crumble kind of in the bottom of the mason jar, but I think I'm gonna need a little bit more, so I'm just gonna get everything out, and I'm just gonna take all of the stuff that's kind of in the bottom and already kind of all good to go, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that in my pipe just real quick, and I'm just gonna gravity feed it. So I'm just grabbing it by the hand, and I'm just kind of feeding it in just like that. And definitely I can tell right off the bat, this is a much bigger pipe, bowl size wise, than my Missouri Meerschaum Legend. Like if I had done that with my Legend, it would have already been half full, but this is like not even a quarter full yet. It's definitely a lot deeper of a pipe than my Missouri Meerschaum Legend, and I'm thinking it should probably give me, like my Missouri Meerschaum Legends or the Christmas Washingtons, they're basically the same pipe, they're the same exact size. But both of those pipes, they're absolutely fantastic, but they're really only like 30, 40 minute smokers depending on what kind of tobacco you're smoking. With this tobacco, it's around about like 30 to 40 minutes, I definitely have to say, but I'm thinking it's gonna be more like an hour to, slightly over an hour with this pipe kind of thing. But I've just got some of my crumble cake. I'm just kind of crumbling it up now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need all the tobacco from this. I was thinking I had plenty, but I might actually be using pretty much the rest of my tobacco that I've got with this experience today. I'm not sure if I'm going to, but I might be getting close to it. Let's go and just continue gravity feeding it just real quick, just like that. And once it gets all the way up to the top, I'm gonna go ahead and tamp it down very lightly. I'm trying to make sure I actually do proper tamping in today's video and whatnot kind of thing. I wanna make sure that I get the best smoking experience possible from the first time with this pipe. So I'm gonna try to tamp it as well as I possibly can. Just go and take some more of that. And I think I'm gonna almost be out of this tobacco after this smoke, frankly put. Wow, I was not expecting to almost use all of the rest of the Paradoxical tobacco, but I think I'm gonna be using almost the rest of it. Well, let's go ahead. I've got it all the way up to the brim, so let's go and just tamp it down just very lightly, just like that kind of thing. Compress down very nicely, if I do say so myself. And now we're a little bit above the halfway point. Let's go ahead and put some more tobacco in now. And I'm thinking I'm gonna need to chop some more up. or get some more from the cake. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take that, and I'm just gonna kind of rip it up and whatnot. I did spill just a little bit on me, but not too much, not enough to make a too big of a difference, so I really cannot complain. I think, wow, I was not expecting to really be using the rest of the tobacco, but I think I'm gonna be using almost the rest of the tobacco. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a bowl's worth after this video. Wow. Well, this might be the last video y'all see with the Paradoxical by Sutliff. It was a limited edition tobacco, from what I know. They don't make it anymore, so it's not like I'm getting any more of it, so this might be the last video y'all see with it. Not sure. Don't quote me on that. I might have some tobacco left over. Just a little bit more in there. Just like that. Go ahead and tamp it down just a little bit harder this time. Just like that. And I'm going to go and just test the draw. I think I can definitely put some more in there, and I think I can definitely tamp it down just a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. Got a little bit of tobacco pull through from that, just a little bits of tobacco that kind of settled in the bottom of the pipe. Even though this is a filtered pipe, those bits do still kind of come through to some degree because there are still holes in the sides of the filter and whatnot, because they're triangle shaped, not circle shaped. And let's go and just tamp that down to a decent degree now, just like that. And I'm thinking that is the pipe all full. I have not much of my tobacco left, frankly, but I'm not even sure if I have a bowl's worth of tobacco left. Let's go and put this all back in my mason jar, though. I think I might have enough left for one bowl from a Legend corncob pipe. I don't even know if I have enough for that, in all honesty. Wow, I used pretty much all of that tobacco. I'm glad I had just barely enough. I was gonna smoke some of this stuff last night, but I decided not to. I decided not to smoke some pipe yesterday, just because I just had some stuff going on. And I'm actually glad I decided not to, just because if I had, I probably wouldn't have had enough tobacco for today's video, which would have been bad. But I do suppose, without further ado, now it's time for me to go ahead and get my lighter out of my pocket. And I've got a $155 pipe in my hand and $1.50 lighter. Yeah, it works, so why not just use it, you know what I'm saying? But no fancy lighters here today or anything like that kind of thing. No Zippo lighter, no fancy lighter, just a classic Bic lighter. I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and actually get this pipe all lit up for the first time. And I do suppose I should probably go ahead and get to smoking and get to the first firing of my brand new $155 Briar pipe. Without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get this all lit up. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? I think I am gonna have to, excuse me, I think I am gonna have to use my hand just a little bit, though. And there it was, y'all. That was the first puff out of my new pipe. As a whole, the draw, pretty good right now. Definitely really not particularly different than my 6mm filtered corncob pipes that I also own. And I haven't even done the official light yet. I've just kind of got the starter light going. I'm just kind of getting it going and kind of getting it a little bit hot before I go ahead and do the official light, before I tamp it down and then do the official light, to say it correctly. And right off the bat, the taste from the tobacco is definitely coming through a little bit differently than the taste comes through from my corncob pipe. I can definitely tell this is a different material of pipe, and it's definitely giving me a little bit of a different flavor, which is not bad at all. Let's go ahead and tamp this down though, just like that. And let's go ahead and try to do a little bit of an official light. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying? And there we go, y'all. There we go. And already I'm feeling pretty good. I'm already starting to feel a little bit of a buzz. The paradoxical, it's a little bit of a stronger tobacco than not, but it's not like overwhelmingly strong to make you have to take a break mid-smoke. So far, I can most certainly confirm this pipe is smoking well. Is it so far smoking better than my like $20 pipes I have at home, like my $10 to $30 pipes I have at home? I wouldn't say better per se, but definitely different. Definitely different. Very interesting. Very interesting. It's definitely different, but it's smoking really well if I do say so myself. And just with the length of the pipe, it's just really easy to just kind of sit down at a table and just kind of puff just like that kind of thing. It's just really easy to do exactly that. It's just very ergonomic kind of thing. The rusticated finish just feels so nice in my hand, and the pipe itself, it is heating up just a little bit. I got to make sure I don't smoke too hot or anything like that kind of thing. Got to make sure I don't burn my pipe out on the first smoke. I'll be frank with y'all. But as a whole, it's smoking very well right now, and I am liking it. I think one of the reasons why it's kind of smoking a little bit differently than I'm used to is due to the length of the pipe. Even though it's not really all that much longer than the Missouri Meerschaum pipes that I have, it's just a little bit longer nonetheless. And due to that little bit more length, I think the smoke cools down just a little bit more before it gets into my mouth. And due to that, I'm getting a little bit of a cooler flavor, even though I'm smoking just as warm as normally kind of thing. I'm puffing away to a pretty significant degree, frankly put. I tend to smoke a little bit fast. And a little bit hot, but the smoke is cooling down to a significant degree before it gets to my mouth, and just a little bit more than normal kind of thing. I really do like the length of this pipe. Now, clenching wise, it's pretty good. It's pretty good clenching wise, I'll be honest. It's not the best clenching wise. It's not as good as some of my corncob pipes that are a little bit shorter, but it's not bad by any means, and it's very easy to clench. And a lot of times when I get a new pipe, I say this where I'm like, it's not really, it's not as good as some of my other pipes to clench kind of thing. And the fact of the matter is that I'm just not used to smoking out of the pipe yet, so I haven't really gotten used to clenching it to any significant degree. I do think once I get used to clenching out of this pipe, or once I get used to smoking in this pipe, and once I get used to clenching it, I think clenching is going to come naturally, and I'm probably going to be eating that statement, and I'm going to be thinking that this pipe is super easy to clench, frankly put. But right now, just because I'm not used to the length of the pipe, and just because I'm not used to the pipe in general, it is not as easy to clench as some of my other pipes, but it's still a very comfortable smoke, and the tobacco is tasting really good through it. I've got another Briar pipe. I've got a Dr. Grabo that was given to me courtesy of one of y'all. Thank you so much once again. But I'm noticing there's definitely some differences. So when I smoked out of the Dr. Grabo for the first time, I was getting a very distinct woody taste from the Dr. Grabo. With this pipe, on the other hand, not so much. It's not as clean of a taste as one of my corncob pipes, which I've already got a very large cake built up in and everything like that kind of thing. Definitely not as clean of a taste as that. There's definitely some other taste going on in there, but there's not a distinct woody taste that is interrupting the taste I'm actually getting from the tobacco. And I wonder if that's due to the fact that this pipe has been pre-fired or something like that kind of thing. I think the Dr. Grabo was as well, but I still tasted a decent amount of wood, in all honesty, whereas I'm not really getting that taste with this, which is very interesting. I think I can say I like this pipe. I think I can say I like it, in all honesty, yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this pipe. I do think I'd still prefer it if it didn't have a very slight bend in the stem. Or I'd prefer it more if it didn't have a slight bend in the stem, but the slight bend in the stem, yeah, it's really not it's not bothering me at all, in all honesty. It's perfectly fine. It's not bothering me. I'm all good. I'm all good, frankly put. The slight bend in the stem, it is what it is. It's something I'd prefer not to have, but it's not bothering me one bit. I was kind of afraid it was going to bother me, but it's not. It's not, in all honesty. It's just very slight. Instead of being held like this, it's just kind of very slightly like that. And the acrylic stem is really nice as well. The acrylic stem, I think it looks fantastic, but it feels fantastic on the teeth as well. It's definitely something, I've held it in my teeth just a little bit. I've definitely put one dent in it, but it's definitely something that, as long as I don't kind of clench down too hard, I'm not going to really be putting any dents in it. I think this acrylic stem will pretty much last forever, and worst case scenario, if it doesn't, I can always get another one from Savinelli, I'm sure. I know with some softer plastic stems I've gotten from Missouri Meerschaum before, I've like been clenching them, and I've got like dents all in those plastic stems and whatnot kind of thing. I haven't actually broken one yet, but I think there's one that I'm probably going to be breaking sometime soon, just a little bit more so than not, just because I've almost bitten through it, frankly, but I've just bent it up that much just with clenching. But the acrylic stem pipes I've got, I'm nowhere near having that issue at all. Like even if there's a slight dent in them, it's very slight kind of thing. I just accidentally like bit down just way too hard. I think this stem's pretty much going to last forever. I think it's all good kind of thing. It ain't no plastic stem. And one of my requirements for buying one of these expensive pipes, I did not want a vulcanite stem. I specifically did not want a vulcanite stem. I've never smoked out of a pipe with a vulcanite stem before. And after having done research on vulcanite stems, I've decided I'm not really interested in having one, frankly put. Vulcanite, for context, just in case you all don't know, it's vulcanized rubber, which is generally what pipe stems, mouthpieces, whatever you want to call them, were made of up until normal plastic and acrylic became common. But vulcanized rubber does have a couple issues. So it'll be good at first. When you first buy the pipe, it'll be perfectly fine. It'll be black. It'll be all good. Problem is, you leave vulcanized rubber in the sun and it starts kind of degrading. and it starts giving you like a little bit of a sulfur taste, and just as you use it, as your spit gets on the pipe and stuff like that kind of thing, it starts kind of degrading just a little bit. You have to sand it down, you have to clean it, all that sort of stuff every couple years. Frankly, but I just don't feel like dealing with that. So now I was like, oh, an acrylic stem, you don't ever have to care for it kind of thing. You just have to clean it with a pipe cleaner. And if you're really worried about cleaning it, you can soak it in dishwater or run Everclear all over it or something like that kind of thing. You don't have to be worried about it. Whereas with the vulcanite stem, it takes a little bit more care. I wanted a pipe that just kind of works and I don't have to think about, frankly put, for my first ever big pipe purchase. And that's why I opted for this pipe right here. Now, I do want to try a pipe with a vulcanite stem in the future. I just don't want to buy a really expensive pipe with a vulcanite stem in the future. I have no desire to do that. And honestly, I probably would not have bought this pipe if it did not have an acrylic stem. If it had a vulcanite stem, probably wouldn't have bought it in all honesty. And I do think it's gone out. That's my fault. I was talking. It wouldn't have gone out if I hadn't been talking. But let's go ahead and get back to smoking. As a whole, it's smoking really well though. And I can definitely tell the length of the pipe is definitely having an effect, not only on the actual temperature of the smoke hitting my tongue, so I'm definitely getting less tongue bite than normal, but I've also got a very different mouthfeel in my mouth as well, and I don't think that's due to the length of the pipe, but I think that's due to the material of the pipe. I think the fact that this is a Briar pipe is giving me a little bit of a different mouthfeel than a corncob pipe, which does make sense. It's a different material after all. So I think I am getting definitely a little bit of a different mouthfeel than I would normally get, which is very interesting. And up until this point, I have smoked out of my Dr. Grabo a couple times. But the main pipes that I've been smoking out of up until this point have been corncob pipes. So this is definitely different. This is definitely different. But I'm loving this pipe, to say the least. I'm loving it. I like the fact that the bowl is a little bit wider as well. I do think it's a little bit wider than my Missouri Meerschaum, and I do to the very slight wider bowl. Now, I've heard with wider bowls on pipes that if you have a wider bowl, you get more taste from the tobacco just because there's more area for the air, for the oxygen to hit, for it to light up and everything like that. So you get a little bit more taste and there's more depth to taste and whatnot. Some pipes are better for certain types of pipe tobacco than not. Like straight Virginias are best in like smaller bowl or like taller pipes that are have a little bit of small bowl. And the Englishes are supposed to be best in like wide bowls kind of thing. But this tobacco in specific, and I've heard that Bing's favorite is really good for straight Virginias. But the little bit of a wider bowl that I'm used to, I'm thinking it's a wider bowl. I think it's 0.8 rather than 0.75. I might be wrong, but either way, the taste, I'm getting a little bit of a different taste than normal. I'm thinking it might be not only due to the fact that it's from a different material than I'm used to, because I don't think I've ever smoked the paradoxical tobacco out of anything but a corncob pipe. But I'm definitely getting a little bit of a different taste than usual. And I'm also getting, I feel like a little bit more, not depth of taste than usual per se, but it's just different depth of taste. And either somebody's, I don't know if y'all can hear it on video, but either somebody's got really loud music playing in their car, or there's a concert venue all the way over that way, about a mile away, and I think I can hear them doing tests for a concert tonight. Yeah, it's like a mile away and I'm still able to hear that. That's wild. And I think there's somebody over there recording a music video as well. I can hear their music over there. I don't know if it's showing up on video. I hope this video doesn't get copyrighted, but I can hear their music, and then there's a guy with a gimbal and another guy doing a dance, and I think he's doing lyrics for the song as well. So he's got a music video going. So that's what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. I respect the grind, you know what I'm saying? I respect the grind. I'm out here making a video too, what can I say? Yeah, the taste of this though, it's really nice. The taste of the tobacco I'm getting right now is very much that of a very nice, sweet, honey-like, sort of slightly meaty taste with a little bit of a nutty taste in there as well. If I had to describe it fully in depth, I'd have to say that I'm getting from the Virginias very much a nice, sweet, citrusy, honey-like, slightly sort of lemony, sort of fruity taste as a whole, with maybe a little bit of a sort of bready taste in there as well. Not really a hay-like taste, maybe more of a bready taste. Then I'd have to say the Nicotina Rustica is giving me a sort of honey-like meaty taste, and that honey-like meaty taste is combining really well with the Virginias. And then there's also a little bit of a nutty taste from the actual, and maybe a slight coca taste as well, which I've never really noticed before from the Paradoxical, from the Burleys. That's what the taste is really like as a whole, and all combines together very well into one blend. Tastes absolutely fantastic. I love the Paradoxical by Sutliff, and I'm very sad. I'm very sad that I'm almost done with it, but I'm very glad that I'm able to use the last of it in my brand new $155 pipe, I will admit. I think it's gone out again. That's my bad. I was talking for a moment there. Just tamp that down just a little bit. And let's just go ahead and get that going. This pipe's smoking good though. Is it smoking better? Now that I've been smoking for a little bit, can I say that it's smoking better than my like $10 to $20 pipes? No, it's not smoking better per se, but it's definitely smoking differently. But my Missouri Michon pipes, I mean, like, they're cheap pipes, but they smoke really well. This pipe smokes just as good as those, but definitely a little bit differently. Definitely a little bit differently. The mouthfeel is a little bit different. The smoke is a little bit cooler just due to the length of the pipe. It's really good. It's a good, I'm enjoying smoking out of this pipe for the first time, to say the least. And I think in a minute, I might try to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot. And I'm feeling a little bit buzzed right now as well, I will admit. Definitely starting to feel a little bit buzzed. Let me go and grab myself a little bit of a screenshot though. Gotta get a thumbnail for the video, you know what I'm saying? Gotta get a thumbnail for the video. Hopefully one of those little frames works. We will find out. It is a little bit breezy today, but thankfully the breeze is not heavy enough to make it where I can't light my pipe or anything like that. And it's not heavy enough to make the tobacco in my pipe burn itself out and get too hot by any means. I do definitely need to get a pipe cap for sure. I forgot to order some online the last time I made a pipe tobacco purchase online. So I definitely do need to order one in the future. Definitely do need to order one in the future. But, bug coming at me, whoa. Definitely do need to order one because sometimes when I'm wanting to smoke, it's a little bit more windy than not outside. And while I can get my pipe lit up, it's heating up the tobacco too much and it's just making for a smoke session not being as good. So definitely want to get a pipe wind cap for sure. Definitely need to pick one up. I can definitely say that I'm really glad I decided to buy a rusticated Bing's favorite rather than a smooth one. I saw the photos of the smooth ones online and they don't look bad by any means, but I think my personal preference when it comes to pipes, when it comes to Briar pipes in specific, if it's a smooth finish, it's got to have like a really light grain, like it's got to have not a dark stain on it at all. I don't like dark stained smooth finish pipes. If it's going to be dark stained, I want it to be rusticated. I really like light stained smooth pipes and rusticated pipes, but you know, if it's going to be a darker finish pipe, it's got to be rusticated. I'm just not a big fan of dark stain personally speaking, so I'm really glad I went for the rustication. Or I'm not a big fan of dark stained smooth pipes. I like the dark stain, but only in rustication. And I think it's gone out again. I'm gonna give myself a moment before I go ahead and get it lit up once again. And I am actually, and it's just looking so good. I just set it down on my ashtray and it's just looking so solid on my ashtray. I love the look of it. I love the look of the pipe. I can't get over it. I've been gushing over this pipe for I don't know how long, and I'm just so glad to finally own it, frankly. But I love it. I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and actually put my pipe tobacco back in my backpack because it's getting a little bit sunny right here. It's a little bit in the shade when I first sat down, but it's getting a little bit sunny over here now, so I think I'm gonna put that away just so I don't get condensation in my mason jar so the rest of the tobacco doesn't get moldy. I can definitely tell this pipe, it's definitely heating up to a decent degree. I'm definitely smoking a little bit faster than I probably should. So it's definitely heating up just a little bit, to say the least, but it's nothing to any insane degree. And once I start getting a cake build up after I do like 10-20 smokes out of this pipe, it'll be all good. Let's go ahead and get this pipe all lit up once again though. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Oh, I did singe it just a little bit there. That's okay though. It's just proof I've actually used it. Bird just flew over here, landed over there, and then just flew off. Just a little blue bird. It was just a little blue and white bird with like a brown stomach. Not sure what kind of bird it was, but a pretty cool bird. Just a little bit of a songbird, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I'm definitely feeling buzzed though. I'm feeling good right now. This is a good smoking pipe. I'm feeling buzzed, and I'm liking the length of smoke as well. Like with my smaller pipe with the Missouri Meerschaum Legend or Missouri Meerschaum Christmas Washington, I'd already be almost done with this smoke, but no, I don't think I think we're just about halfway through. And in all honesty, I gotta stand up. This table I'm sitting at, it's kind of black. So it's definitely heated up a decent amount of the sun, and I'm feeling a little bit warm right now, so I'm gonna stand up. It doesn't help I'm wearing full black fit today either. Definitely feeling much better after having done that. Yeah. After having the smoked out of this pipe just a little bit, I think I can say for sure, I'm a fan. I like this pipe. I do like this pipe. I really do. This is a good pipe. I have no regrets about my purchase, none at all. I'm really enjoying how this pipe smokes so far. I'm really liking how it looks. I like that it's a little bit different than my other pipes, and the smoke is coming through a little bit cooler just due to the length of it. I like this pipe. I have no regrets about spending $150 on this pipe, frankly. It's a lot of money for me. I have no intentions of buying another expensive pipe like this one for quite a while to say the least. The next time I buy an expensive pipe like this one, it's gonna be my birthday or something like that again next year. So it's gonna be at least a year until I spend another. I'd much rather spend my money on tobacco. But I'm glad to have a nice expensive pipe like this one, and I'm looking forward to smoking out of this pipe quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to enjoying it lots more in the future. And I'm actually planning on traveling with this pipe. I was thinking I might travel with this pipe. I've got some places I want to visit and whatnot. Want to visit Canada sometime in the future. Want to visit Europe, mainland Europe sometime in the future. So Canada, they got expensive pipe tobacco, but they got pipe tobacco up there that I might want to try. And they got some definitely, in Europe, they definitely got some different pipe tobaccos than are available here and whatnot. So I was thinking, I want to bring a nice pipe with me. And I was thinking, hey, I should get myself a nice pipe. And that was another reason why I bought this pipe right here, in all honesty. Although I'm mainly just using that as an excuse. I could have just brought a corn cob with me, but I was thinking, I'll take a nice briar and a corn cob. Why not, right? And I think we actually might be closer to the bottom than I was kind of thinking. Wow. Yeah, the bend in the stem, it's not a big deal. But if Savinelli offers a stem that's the same length and straight, I might be tempted to try to buy that depending on the price. But it ain't no biggie, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no biggie. I like this pipe. I like this pipe. I was gonna say something else, but I've completely forgotten what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I wonder if I flip over the stem, if it'll be like all good and I can just like flip over the stem, and then boom, it's like no longer curved. So I might try flipping over the stem for the next smoke I have with this pipe. I'm not gonna mess with it right now because moving the stem when you're actually smoking on a briar pipe is a really bad thing for it. Like, you can kind of do it with some corn cobs, it's still not recommended because you can break not only the acrylic but also the stem of the briar itself by doing that. So you really do not want to move the stem around while you're actually smoking. I made that mistake before. Don't do it. But yeah, this is smoking great. And I think what I'm gonna do, what I've been doing lately is once I get it happening, once it starts happening where I'm kind of lighting it up and then it goes out really easily kind of thing, like really quickly, what I do is I kind of just take my poker, just like that, and I just kind of take it and I just brush the top layer of the ash, just a little bit kind of thing, and then I just dump that top layer out. And then I take my tamper and I tamp it back down, and then I get to reel it just like that. So I'm gonna do that, and just taking a look at it. I don't think I have like too much left by any means, but I definitely do have like a decent amount left. And one other thing I've got to make sure to do is I've got to make sure that once I'm actually done and whatnot kind of thing, I put my finger over the pipe before I go ahead and I just kind of shake it just a little bit just to get like all the carbon around the edges. I want to make sure I get a nice cake going in my pipe. So got to make sure I get the carbon going around the edges and everything like that kind of thing. And but I'm not quite done yet. I've still got a decent amount of tobacco in there. It's all kind of black, but I'm thinking it should be good. So let's go ahead and get back to smoking, y'all. Although it's a little bit breezy right now, so I might have to wait just a moment. It is what it is. There we go. All good. No problems at all. I like this pipe. As said at the very beginning of this video, I bought this pipe at Pipes by George in Raleigh, North Carolina, in my local area. I'm local to near Raleigh, North Carolina, and Pipes by George is, in my personal opinion, the best pipe shop in Raleigh. And he's got a very good selection of both tobaccos and pipes, and he's very helpful. So if you guys are looking for an expensive pipe, I'm not sponsored by him or anything like that kind of thing. It's just I like his shop quite a bit. It's like an older tobacconist. You walk inside, you're greeted with the smell of smoke and everything. I love it. I love it. It's a unique shop when compared to many other smoke shops in the Raleigh area. So if you're all looking for a pipe or some pipe tobacco in Raleigh, and y'all are the smoking age, to be precise, make sure to stop by Pipes by George and pick yourself up a nice pipe and pick yourself up some tobacco. And even if you don't want to get yourself a nice pipe per se, he does have like corncob pipes there, like Missouri Meerschaums and stuff like that for like $10 starting. Not sponsored as said, but I just really like the shop. I'll admit though, compared to some other pipes I've tried, where I'm kind of struggling at the very beginning, just trying to figure out how the pipe is and everything like that, this pipe's super easy. This pipe's really easy to figure out. Probably because it's kind of a somewhat similar shape to the Missouri Meerschaum I have. To most of the Missouri Meerschaums I have, but excuse me. No, it's pretty easy to figure out, not hard at all. Very easy to smoke out of, not hard at all. Definitely not, there's really no real learning curve with this pipe, I'd have to say. Tobacco tastes great. Not really getting any woody taste out of this pipe or anything like that kind of thing. I know Savinelli is a reputable brand, but I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, and well, I got exactly what I wanted. I got a good smoking pipe, good smoking expensive pipe as you would want, but it got a good smoking pipe, and I can't complain. I can't complain. Definitely smoking a little bit fast right now, especially since the tobacco it's pretty low in, so there's not really too much left kind of thing. I think I've probably got another 5 to 10 minutes left of this pipe smoke. So, I mean, like, I got the pipe lit up around, I think, the 30-minute mark. Somewhere around there. So I've been smoking for about 35 minutes so far. So it's actually, I was thinking that this was going to be a really longer smoking pipe than what I'm used to. But, I mean, like, while it might be slightly longer smoking than one of my other pipes that I have, like a Missouri Meerschaum Legend or Christmas Washington, it's not, like, insanely longer smoking per se. Today it's like almost 90 degrees out here, but due to the light breeze, like usually I'd be like, oh man, the wind's my greatest enemy and stuff like that kind of thing. And to some extent, the wind is one of my greatest enemies, besides mosquitoes, wasps, and yellow jackets. Today the breeze is actually just really nice. I got to give it some props. It would be a bit warm today if there was no breeze, but it's actually very nice because there is a breeze. But I can definitely tell we're kind of approaching the end. The taste is, it's not really as good as it once was kind of thing. It's still good. It's just not as good as it once was. And it's definitely smoking a little bit harder now, but still very smooth. Still getting that different mouthfeel that I described at the beginning of this, or not the beginning, but earlier on in the smoke, or that I mentioned earlier on in the smoke. I'm not really sure if I described it, but you know, good taste, good smoke. Smoke's still not super hot by any means. I like this pipe. I like this pipe quite a bit, to say the least. And I'm definitely feeling a little bit buzzed now. Definitely am. The Nicotina Rustica in the Paradoxical, it definitely hits hard, and I like that it hits hard. I really do appreciate that. But I'm thinking once it goes out, that's probably going to be it. More than likely. Could be wrong. I could very well be wrong, but I'm thinking once it goes out, that's probably going to be it, in all honesty. But as said, might be wrong. Just feeling the bottom of the pipe. Yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit hot on the bottom as well, so I can definitely tell we're getting towards the bottom. Good stuff, though. Good stuff. Do I regret spending $155 on this pipe? Hell no, I don't. Hell no. I love this pipe. This is a good pipe. And I'm glad I decided to buy, like when I walked in Pipes by George, he had a bunch of new pipes that I hadn't seen there previously. And I was so tempted to buy one of those others, but I'm glad I pretty much walked out knowing, I'm glad I walked in knowing what I wanted. I'm glad I walked out getting what I wanted. In all honesty, I'm glad I opted not to buy one of the other pipes that he had. I'm glad I bought the pipe that I bought. I'm glad I bought the pipe that I've been kind of gushing over for the last couple months now. Yeah, I think it's pretty much gone out. I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of spoon it around with the spoon on my check pipe tool. I don't really think there's anything left, in all honesty. Just taking a look just real quick. Yeah, it was pretty much all black, and there was really not anything left, in all honesty. What I'm gonna do is I am going to just kind of let that sit, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of shake it up just a little bit. I'm gonna take my thumb. I learned this from a mutton chop piper. He's got a lot more experience in smoking pipe than I do, so I don't personally consider myself qualified to do a how to smoke pipe tutorial quite yet, but he's got a great one out there, and I watched his tutorial on how to take care of take care of briar pipes and stuff like that. One of the things he recommended doing was kind of covering this when you've got like a new smoke kind of thing, because you want to build up the cake, and then just kind of shaking it just like that, just to kind of get the cake all spread around and whatnot. After you smoke, of course, you get ash on your hand and whatnot. That's okay. I'm just going to brush that off, so you get kind of all the ash going around the edges. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump that out now. There really wasn't much left. There was a little bit left, don't get me wrong, but not too much by any means. Just looking inside, there's a little bit more tobacco on the bottom, and that tobacco was pretty much fresh, but just looking in the bin, it was all blackened, so yeah, I was pretty much all done. I'm just gonna go ahead and get the rest of that tobacco all out just real quick with my spoon. I would normally use my poker with one of my cheaper pipes, but I'm gonna use the spoon with this one because I actually care more about it. And just blow out just like that. And there we go. That was my first ever smoke with my brand new $155 Briar pipe. After this cools down, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it, and I think I'm probably gonna smoke out of it again tonight. I really like this pipe, to say the least. I am a fan of this pipe. I really like this pipe, just based off of how it looks and the bowl size and the fact that it's filtered online and in person, but after smoking out of it, I can definitely say I really like it. I do think I'd still prefer this pipe if it actually had a straight stem, but you know, honestly, the bent stem, it's really not a big deal, and it's not something that bothers me one bit. It's really not a big deal, frankly put, and as a whole, I have no regrets about spending $155 on my new rusticated Savinelli Bing's favorite, and I have no regrets about smoking out of this pipe for the first time. I really like it. The tobacco definitely tasted a little bit different than normal out of it. Tasted fantastic as a whole, and I really like the Savinelli Bing's favorite. I really do like it. It is, I think it could very quickly become my favorite pipe to smoke out of. I think it could quickly become my favorite pipe to smoke out of. I really like it. It's just about the perfect length. It's not too long, not too short for me or anything like that kind of thing. It's just about perfect for what I want. It's got a filter, it's got a nice deep bowl, but not too deep by any means. I'm not sitting here smoking for 2 hours by any means. It doesn't, like, on the first smoke, it really didn't give me any sort of woody taste either, and it's got a little bit of a bent stem, but not a big deal one bit kind of thing. Looks fantastic as well. As a whole, this pipe very much to my preference. I really, really, really do like it. And I think that's about all I had to say. But there is actually one other thing I do want to say, and that's what kind of tobacco I'm going to be smoking out of this pipe, because y'all are not going to be seeing this pipe for every tobacco that I try in the future. Briars, from what I have heard, tend to ghost a little bit easier than corn cobs, clays, and meerschaum pipes, I want to say, just because of how porous the material is. So it just kind of soaks up the flavor of whatever you smoked last quite a bit. What I'm mainly going to be smoking out of this pipe is basically everything other than English tobacco, basically anything that contains latakia and aromatics. So I'm not going to smoke aromatics out of this pipe, and I'm not going to smoke anything with latakia out of this pipe. This is going to be a Burley, Virginia, Burley, dark-fired Kentucky, Burley, Virginia, just Virginia pipe. I'm going to be basically smoking anything out of this pipe besides Englishes, Balkans, and aromatics, or just basically any tobacco that's aromatic and has a very strong topping that might ghost the pipe. And basically anything that has Latakia in it, frankly, but because Latakia does ghost a little bit more so than not as well. So I'm not going to be smoking any tobacco like that in this pipe, but everything else is pretty much a go, frankly put. And I'm thinking, since I'm pretty much all out of my Paradox, I definitely do not have enough for another bowl in this pipe. I'm thinking the next tobacco I smoke out of my new Savinelli Bing's favorite might have to be... I've got a couple different options, but I'm kind of thinking I might smoke some Capstan Blue out of it and see how Capstan Blue is out of this pipe. I am tempted, frankly put. But I'm glad I had some Paradoxical out of the pipe for my first smoke. Pretty much all done with the Paradoxical. Shame it's gone, but it is what it is. It is what it is. As a whole, as I'm sure is obvious, I am a huge fan of this pipe. I really do like it. It's a great pipe. It's a great smoker, and I love the look of it, and I'm looking forward to smoking out of it lots more in the future, and I'm looking forward to making lots more videos with it in the future, and I'm looking forward to traveling with the future. It might be a little bit bold, might be a little bit ballsy to travel with a $155 pipe, but since I spent $155 in this pipe, I want to make some memories with it, so I'm going to travel with it. But I think that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching this video where I had the first firing where I smoked out of my brand new $155 pipe for the first time. My first ever smoking out of this pipe, and this pipe is my first ever expensive pipe purchase. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. It's been a lot of fun to make, really enjoyed making this video, and I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching. And if you guys have enjoyed watching, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my second channel all in the description down below. I do a second video every single day on my second channel. I do a drawing video every single day. My book starts at like $12 or $14 on Amazon. I cannot remember which, but I think it's like $12 on Amazon. Go pick it up. I have t-shirts on Amazon starting at $19.99. Go check them all out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you so much for watching, y'all. Till the next one, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying?